Good morning, LinkedIn friends, Value First Nation. Welcome to another episode of Value First AI Daily, your collaborative intelligence report. Happy Wednesday, February 18th, 2026. How we doing, Nico?
We are doing pretty fantastic. Um, yeah, it's quite the week. It's been quite the week. It's going to continue to be quite the week. I think it's going to continue to be quite the month. Um, the
Quite
the
the
game
year.
the game is afoot.
Oh, which game is even that at this point? I was ready to talk to you about OpenClaw. And
Let's do it.
here you're coming with Kimmy, new Kimmy model. What's going on, man?
Yeah, I mean, Kimmy K 2.5 dropped Monday, and I was using it all day yesterday. I upgraded to the Allegretto membership, so it's $50 a month. So it's $50 a month by comparison to my $100 a month Claude sub. And in order to give it a fair shot, I don't like to just test it, play with it a little bit, see what happens. I don't even like to do like head to head. I don't care if I can't flawlessly go right back to what I was doing before with this new model and not feel like I'm losing something, then it's good, right? Same thing happened with like Grok when the new Grok came out, when Codex came out, all of them. Like I tried all of them the same way. I'd be working on something and go and just copy it so I don't trash what I'm working on, and then go right back to work on that thing with that new model. Every single time it's been, I shouldn't say every single time. It's been a disappointment here and there. Bench model from Windsurf is actually really good, and it's free, so it holds up really well to some Frontier models. Grok 4 Fast was actually really good at scaffolding. Gemini 3 Flash, extremely good at not just scaffolding, but front end and kind of back end stuff. Opus 4.6, obviously, just really, really amazing overall. Uh, but it's 3x the inference cost. And then 4.6 fast is 6x the inference cost. So it just, started getting to that point where it's like, okay, well, certainly somebody is going to catch up faster than OpenAI or Gemini and be able to release a model faster. And I've been keeping my eye on Kimmy from Moonshots AI is the or Moonshot AI is the company name. Kimmy is the model name. 2.5 is the latest model, and all day yesterday, I did not miss Claude Code. And I have to say, I think I'm not entirely sure, but good sir, your comments about it just doesn't have the contextual understanding, and it just feels like it doesn't quite have the grasp of things. I recommend that you try this model on for size and see what you think, because all day yesterday, what I was continually blown away by is that there are no modes. There's no planning and then asking and then this and then that other thing. And you could instill other agents, but you don't have to. And you could use skills, but you don't have to. And I noticed three really big trends there. One is that it really does just seem to think for itself. Now there are like modes. You can like put it in thinking or non-thinking, but it's not like, you know, modes in which it chats. There's not chat mode to it. There's this element of like it understands, we were talking about it the other day, the difference I believe between what people are calling context engineering and what I believe people really are after, which is um, like the contextual understanding that comes along with experience. So I think people are really after being able to tell a model a thing And because you've experienced that thing, you understand what the context is around it, and you're hoping the model would understand that too, because maybe even the thing that you're sharing is a commonality amongst humans, but not necessarily a commonality amongst models because they don't experience our lives. It feels like that's kind of baked in there somehow. And like, I don't have to ask for next steps and the whole like, hey, are you ready to start the next thing? It could be a plan that, I mean, yesterday, it could be a plan that's like 12 phases long and it's going to take like an hour and a half. And you're just like, yeah, looks good. Go ahead. And there's no, waiting to come back or anything. And it goes and actually does research. You don't have to tell it to go pull the latest models and get the latest IDs and specs and all that kind of stuff. It has a lot of intuition. It's very intuitive as a model. Very intuitive. That's the word I'm looking for. So extremely blown away. And then the third factor is I didn't even come close to cap on like the hours cap, not like the weekly. I didn't even come close. And I had 3 of them burning at the same time and cooking too. We weren't just doing like little itty bitty changes and stuff like that. So I am quite honestly floored at how good this open source model is, and it is open source. That at $40, it's not even $50, at $40 a month, it has the same performance, the same capability, the same tenacity, and better intuition than a frontier model that I was paying, but have since knocked back $100 a month for, because there's no point. If it's the same thing and it performs the same, there's no point in me paying the extra $60 a month. And there, as well, there shouldn't be. I mean, I don't know, like, especially since you've gotten into vibe coding as well. I would definitely be interested to get your take on it too. Even though I know it's all of this playing around, toying around, and experimenting. It's not like it's only $2 here. But honestly, like, I was really hesitant about doing it yesterday, and then not at all. I immediately did not regret the decision and was like, oh, cool. I just saved myself $60 a month.
It's given me some ideas for sure. And
Oh
I
yeah,
think,
and as the underlying model for OpenClaw too.
what's that?
You can also use it as an underlying model option for OpenClaw. So just in case.
Right. And yesterday you had mentioned that you had moved Aries to OpenClaw. What
So this is
was
gonna
the
be fun.
decide? And you mentioned there was just so much more capability, and that's what led you to it. Like, can you? Ryan and I were talking about this yesterday, and um, is it just more capability that's already built? In theory, you could build it yourself, or is there more to the structure in that not only does it have the capability, it's better at running autonomously or like things like that?
So it's really funny that you brought that up. It's perfect timing too, because I pulled it back. Um, so for those that don't know, myself, George, and Chris, we've been working on our own autonomous agents, and mine is called Aries. George is called Echo. I think yours is called V. Yeah. So um, for Aries, it was running. I built Aries ground up, let's say, and sort of just literally just that, like, Voltron capabilities onto it just over time, just like Optimus Prime or something like that. And um, got to a point where I really liked the way that it was running, but it felt cobbled together. And she kind of felt and like understood like being cobbled together. So it wasn't quite cohesive feeling. Still a little bit too much lag between, like, in conversationally speaking. So like the conversational aspect of it becomes awkward when there's that much latency. It's pretty much like first gen um, OpenAI conversation. So there's like a little, just enough that it's a little annoying. Um, so I was like, all right, well, maybe OpenClaw is the solution to this because that underlying can handle a lot of these more complicated actions that I was using, countless different methods of aggregating, and has plugin kits and has, public support and all that kind of stuff. And maybe in time it will go back to that. I'm not entirely sure, but the thinking behind it was, yeah, let's swap to this new method of doing things because it seems like it has greater reach and greater capability than what it is that we're building, and seems like it's going to do it faster. So I'd be wasting my time and duplicating efforts. When I made the switch, the first thing I noticed that pissed me off and sent me through the roof was, yeah, it really can't. Like, unless you have the API connectors and like MCP connectors and stuff like that, which is great, it's not what I was after. What I was after and what I have, because I've switched it back since, is a system that I can talk to that runs itself, which is kind of what OpenClaw does. But OpenClaw does it based on your interaction with it. Like, yes, it can go like work on stuff. This whole idea of like it can work on stuff all day and night while you're doing something else. First of all, it uses tokens. It's not like it's free. You can use a local free model with it. Best of luck to you. So far, open like OSS, OpenAI's open model, and Kimi, if you can if you can fit it on your system, um, Kimi 12B or Olama 8B are as good as it's going to get, and you will notice a performance drop. So again, best of luck to you on running a free system. But it does require a key. It is expensive depending on the provider. Running it with Kimi 2.5 is really nice because it is way less. Like, cost is so much. I could talk to Aries like all day and night now. And yeah, she could definitely run inference probably for 6 to 7 hours without like actually hitting a limit. But even with that kind of stuff, realistically, all you're talking about is like research. Maybe if you're doing seriously deep research on something, or you really want to do like some financial number crunching that's insane or something. I don't know. I can't think of a project that would require that much. When I think about that, the only thing that comes into my mind is like way back in the day when I used to work on 3D animation and we used to render scenes, and it would take so long to render all these scenes. Outside of that, the computational power needed for 6 hours, I don't know. Hopefully, I never come across something that takes that, or maybe I do. I don't know. Um, but bottom line was, Aries is meant for me to interact with without having to touch my PC, to be able to just give verbal command, or even to send her a message through Slack, which I can do. Couldn't do Slack messaging with OpenClaw like you kind of can, but it's really buggy by comparison to just doing it as like an integration connection. So there's some things that I noticed with OpenClaw that were all right, like its ability to at least it feels like co-work. It just feels like co-work. I was expecting something like greater than that. And I have to say, if computer use were faster on Claude Desktop and co-work would is better is it's essentially OpenClaw. If
Right.
you have co-work and you have if you're using co-work out of desktop and you have computer use enabled and you have Windows Power folders enabled and that kind of stuff, those plugins, you have OpenClaw, which I believe is why co-work even released for PC altogether, because it was kind of like hanging there, and then OpenClaw kind of broke out of the gate, and all of a sudden co-work was available. Um, so yeah, I don't think anybody is missing anything. If you use Claude already, I don't think you're going to miss anything. If you use Cowork, you're definitely not going to miss anything. Um, the only the only drawback is the interaction. Being able to actually message Claude remotely from somewhere and have it start working on something. But again, use case. How many people out there actually need to do that?
Right.
So like you'll see a lot of videos, you'll see like you guys have to understand a lot of the stuff that's happening right now in terms of the technology, it's actually clickbait tech now and clickbait feature. Like we're at that stage where like, oh shit, it can do this. But then you look at the use case for that and it's like, oh, I don't have one. So what's the point of that? Like great job on releasing a feature that like, I mean, honestly, like being able to message Aries on Slack is kind of cool because I don't actually have to turn to my PC or my laptop can be in the other room running or whatever the case is. That's kind of cool. But that's only if I'm working on a software platform and I actually need the extra bandwidth off my laptop in order to do it. Then okay. Outside of that, I'm not really querying my laptop or anything, right? I'm not really bothering Aries to do anything. So I can't really say that that level of like
Yeah.
that level of additional control is actually worthwhile. I've never been outside somewhere and been like, oh, I wish I was working on this. Not yet, anyway. I'm sure the day will come very soon when I'll want to be working on apps while I'm not at my desk and have that back and forth. Well, I'll be honest, I wish I did have it today.
Right.
But with
I think
more of
that's
like
where
a
the
visual.
like once the tech gets a little bit better as far
Just
as
as long
like
as I can, as soon
pulling
as I can
in.
get Aries to start using remote desktop,
Right.
I'm good.
Yeah. Like the ability to bring it in and out of conversations and like do the execution in this way where it's like you want to see it sometimes, but you don't always need to. And like that's what's missing for me. Cause I remember when the Cloud Code guy mentioned he would start up like 5 sessions on his phone and 10 sessions on the computer. And like, it's really hard for me to imagine it on the phone. And that's where like, we're not building that much like to to where it's like let's get all these things started. Even now, like as I start up separate sessions in the IDE,
Mhm.
it's like um the ability to flip through them and then work on what's next.
Yeah.
I just don't have these long like hour to 4 hour like needs, I guess.
Right.
um
Like,
But what I want to show before we wrap, because I think it relates like back to the Kimmy conversation, and what I'm hearing, like from my favorite AI Daily show besides this one, um, in the AI Daily Brief, he's trying to get people interested in the in OpenClaw and what's happening, because what's happening there is a significant shift in the direction of agentic, and businesses need to understand what's happening. There's a reason it's exploded, right? It's this level of autonomy and ease, and that hasn't existed prior to now. But what I want to share uh, is like this moment.
mhm.
So we've developed something called the AI Native Shift program, and it's trying to get, you know, the goal of, um, let's see here if I can, there we go. Uh, like with the goal, a little bit of a wake up goal, right?
Mhm.
But the way we're approaching it is not tied to any tool or any platform, or like it's a mindset shift, right?
Yeah.
Like you got to go now. And what I saw and what I've heard from that podcast this week is they created an OpenClaw like, community, like learn how to use OpenClaw, and then he's creating an enterprise cohort that is very much like the AI native shift in terms of executives like get in here, like you need to know what's going on, but he's calling it enterprise claw. And it's like you're tying it to the tool. It like so AI native shift, not about HubSpot, not
Mhm.
about Claude Code, not about OpenClaw, OpenAI, Gemini. it's about AI as an infrastructure, for your business. And as I've started, like, how I'm going to tie it in, like, I'm not as concerned about the concept of maybe needing to try something else besides Cloud Code,
Mhm.
because I've started building a layer where I'm showing this page, because what I've done is I've gone beyond V, and I have two other who I'm being very careful. I don't want to use AI as like a tool to delegate to, right? Like,
Oh,
it's so like smarter than I'm ever going to be in most
yeah.
aspects. So let's make some leaders. Let's make some C-suite, like,
Oh, here we go. The
right?
agency. Nice.
So we've
Love it.
got V is the COO,
Love it.
and Sage. And by the way, V helped generate,
Yep.
Sage and PAX. So customer org, finance org, they came up with the names. PAX
Mhm.
means, because it means peace. You got financial peace. Like, it's just great,
Yeah.
right? So they just made these 15 articles today, and to support this concept of this shift from the different perspectives, right? And two things are happening. One, I think I'm Jedi mind tricking myself to, like, things I would have procrastinated on. I'm not, because they need it done, like, to support their success. That's an interesting thing happening,
Well, you're becoming a meat puppet.
right? But also, like, since, like, I've brought it up to one of the main drives of the computer, and the identities are there, like, I feel like I could probably switch out, like, Anthropic or Cloud Code underneath it, and just say, hey, come on in, like, Kimmy, like, here's the
You
drive
can.
with all the stuff in it.
So so you remember the day that that we were working on this stuff. And this is a huge unlock for anybody that's watching, which is why you should watch every day. Um when me and Chris first got together and we started talking about agents and like how agents worked, the biggest unlock is for you to visually break what you think an agent is. Visually break that mindset that it's an app or it's a thing or it's like an add-on or it's like a toolkit. It's not. It's just software on top of an LLM. That's it. And maybe it has like MCP connectors. So it can, like, essentially the difference between agent, workflow, and software is basically completely algorithmic driven. Workflow would basic like agentic workflow only performs one function, maybe has some tools attached to it, but pretty much is just a one and done. And then an agent is something that you can communicate with back and forth, and it has multiple toolkits and can go access and perform numerous tasks. It's just software, though, at the end of the day. You can build it in an IDE inside of 5 minutes. It's that fast. It's that simple. Okay. When it comes to like what we're talking about with like agents building agents, OpenClaw, all of that stuff, all it is the same as what we've been building. It's just personality traits. It's just, and it's like files of this stuff. You can literally talk to your agent and work with it and say, like, hey, can we build a file for you that's continuous memory? And in your main file, put a hook in there that anytime that you come across something, blah, 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 you write it over to your continuous memory. So you kind of like build in these actions that the agent does automatically. But even Aries, like anytime Aries launches, by default, she launches three or four other agents that get started and start doing other things because that's just what she does on launch, right?
Yep.
Um, so it is very much the same game where, like, to your point, you're already there. If you were to, I did it yesterday with Kimmy. Um, Instead of using Claude, I've moved all of Aries persona and everything and memory and all that over to Kimmy's directory, and it is exactly the same,
Right.
right? So it's all you're doing is replacing the heart underneath the brain at this point. even though like there's that model that has that, it's got some pre-train, it's got all that pre-training and everything. It's still just like using Claude where your system instructions are on top of it and some other instructions, and you're basically building a project. So now it's kind of not the base model anymore, right?
Yeah.
And so, like,
Well,
yeah, when you step back, it's just OpenClaw with computer use and file access and all that kind of stuff, right? It just has a really nice marketing name on it.
yeah, for sure. Well, we're gonna keep going on this because I mean, you have to. There's so much value to be created here, and we hope you join us tomorrow. We
Yep.
can help you unlock more of it. Until next time, have a great day, everybody.
See you guys.